The SDP is an easy way to depict both the mental and physical elements of sexual function and dysfunction that facilitate an integrated treatment approach. Now, why? Because sexual response is an endpoint representing the sum of every thought, behavior, emotion, culture, not just biology. I know it's complicated, but keep in mind the red colors are always excitement, the blue is inhibition, and it refers to a list of relevant mental and physical factors, one on each side, where each may be inhibited or excited, and only key factors are listed because there's probably a million factors, many of which haven't even been discovered yet. So the mental factors listed are thoughts, emotions, relationships, culture, sexual script, the phenomenological experience the person has in receiving touch as opposed to the actual physical touch, and things that are unknown. You know, science is constantly progressing. We're getting more and more information about how all this works. And I wanted a model that would be both simple, like, hey, it's hot or not, and yet had the complexity to be able to incorporate new discoveries for decades to come. The physical factors are anatomical, drug and alcohol effects, endocrine, genetic and epigenetic, neurological, stimulation or actual touch, the physical touch, the friction, again, the unknowns, and previous medical or surgical treatment. Same thing on the mental side. I was tracking whether or not they'd been in some kind of therapy or not, whether or not that helped or it didn't help, because that's going to be a factor as well, obviously. And in this particular cartoon, I use sliders to demonstrate variability, but dimmer switches are also used, and they're essentially equivalent. Now, the sexual tipping point is a threshold at which an individual experiences a sexual response at a given moment in time. So that's going to change. You know, well, if you think about yourself, you'll have sexual thoughts during the day, but there's all kinds of other stuff going on. So your genetics haven't changed, your biology hasn't changed, but how you're feeling is going to be shifting throughout the day, of course. So this is a model that can tell you, like, at a moment, what's going on and what's determining that. So the SDP balance beam can illustrate all the intra and intra-individual variability characteristics. Now, these intra-individual variability is critical. It also illustrates with color changes a normal distribution curve. So if you look at the backboard of that balance beam, you see I've put on it a normal distribution curve. So, you know, 2 standard deviations away, it's like red, they're excited, they're turned on. You can go 3, they're really turned on. But the opposite can also be true. And every one of those factors would begin to move that in one direction or another at a given moment.